Yo, we are back. We are back. Today's video, in fact, before we get into what we're going to talk about in today's video, I need you lot to like, comment, subscribe. Mainly subscribe. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. We need to get the subs up. You know, we're making good progress at the moment. But, you know, sub up for the boy. Sub up for the boy, man. I'm uploading most days, at least 5 times a week. You know, we're pretty consistent. I'm uploading shorts every day, minimum. You know, the boy's consistent, you know. Help a boy out. But yeah, today, we're going to get into something I wanted to talk about, right, yeah, is why doesn't the English national team achieve, yeah? And don't get me wrong, I think we could get into, like, the quality issue or whether there's... I think there's a few reasons, though. Like, the first reason I want to state, which I think is, one, the Premier League is the best league in the world. That is one of the main things I think one of them anyway. But I think I'll go into more of the other reason later, right? But the main one is I think the Premier League is the best league in the world, which means there's little room for developing English talents, right? Now, if you look at a lot of the players now as well, they're not coming from the top teams, because the top teams aren't particularly developing those players because they can't get into those sides. And I think England need to do a better job of either creating those opportunities for those young players. And I think, don't get me wrong, like, the loan system's cool, but the Champ's not the Prem. The League One's not the Prem. Like, the players need to go and get top level experience as soon as possible. Like, even if you look at like all the top players in the world, they all got, like, in fact, a great example is Brazil. Like, they're farting out these young players. Spain, they're farting out these players, particularly Brazil. They fart them out because in Brazil, like, you can play Hendrix, and they can be the best players in the league, and they can get that exposure rapidly. Whereas I think, like, you take someone like Foden or even Cole Palmer, like, how long was it taking them to break into the team? How long did Eze have to spend climbing the ranks? How long did Saka got in kind of raps? But how long is Ethan Nwaneri been waiting to, like, play week in, week out? Like, and I'm not saying that, like, at 15, 16, you should be playing week in, week out. But I'm saying if these talents are from other countries, if they're German, they're playing somewhere, they're doing something in the top league, getting exposure against not just men's football. Like, men is great, but are those men top elite level athletes? Are they being exposed to the rigorous tempo of men's football at a top tier technical level? The answer is the minute ones that are. Like, even look at Kobe Mainoo. Kobe Mainoo's a great example. In and out. If he's German, he's somewhere playing. If he's Spain, he's somewhere playing. If he's Brazilian, he's somewhere playing. If he's French, he's playing. Like, look at the French national team. These youths are playing. Like, some of these youths got 200 caps by the time they're 20. Some of these players have got 200 appearances by the time they're flipping 21, bro. Kobe Mainoo ain't gonna hit 100 probably till, you'll be lucky to hit that shit before 21. I just think, like, I think sometimes we move slow. Even if you look at, like, like the top nations, France, Spain, Germany, Brazil, you name it, their leagues aren't as competitive as the Prem, and we don't do a good enough job of exposing those players to the top level quick enough. And then secondly, which I think is the actual main reason, is the culture of English football is club before country. And people like to pretend like, you might go and do a vox pop on the street and people will say, I'd rather have a World Cup than the league. But not really. Not really, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't really want that. Like, I think people are lying. I think, like national pride, yeah. You go to, like, Brazil, like, they are insane when it comes to national teams. Spain, insane. All these people, I think you ask all of them, I think, even if you ask the 2011 Barcelona team, I think most of those players would say they would rather have won the World Cup than the Champions League, however many times they won it. And I think here, even if we go back here, let's go back. And let's go back to some of the England teams that we've had, yeah. So you've got Cole at this time, he would have been at Arsenal, Campbell Arsenal, Ferdinand Man U, Neville Man U, Scholes Man U, Gerrard Liverpool, Beckham, I think he would have been Man U at that time, Owen Liverpool, Heskey, I'm assuming he would have been Liverpool at that time. These players, they've all come out and said the same thing. It's always like they weren't. Gerrard even came out the other day and he was like, he's closest to Rio now when he spends way less time with him now than what he would have when he was playing for England. They're way more friendly now than what they were in the national team. And I don't think that's the case for any other team. I don't think Ronaldinho linked R9 and said, no, I'm not gelling with you. They all had that common thing. They all had that common thing, which is we're Brazilian, that national pride. I don't think Gerrard and Scholes linked up and said, yeah, we're English. Like, yeah, it's an English thing. Like, it's England. But I don't think they had that. But I think Zubimendi links Pedri in the Spanish national team and they share that Spanish thing. I think all these other teams have that thing of, we are Spanish, we are Brazilian, we are German. Like when you look at the German national team, them man look like, probably not as much as like your wavier countries like Brazil and your Spain, but I just think their nation is a bigger thing to them, and I think that is kind of lost in England. When I'm going to keep this in football anyway, I think that's lost in English football, is that thing for England. Like, look at there's enough quality in this team to go and win something. Like, what else is here? 2018 year, this squad here absolutely stinks, but it's one of the better performing squads. And let's look at where all these players started. Like Young, again, he didn't grow up in a top 6 club. His best years, Aston Villa. Maguire, again, Leicester, best years outside of a top 6 club, which goes back to my previous point. Stones, Barnsley, Everton, again, outside of a top six club. Walker, Spurs, and before that, Sheffield. Again, outside of a top 6 club. Trippier, same thing. Lingard's the only one in here. Henderson, outside of a top 6 club. MK Dons, Sterling, QPR, but he kind of bust at Liverpool, so I'll give you that. And then Kane, Tottenham. Like, this is one of the most successful England teams in the last 20 years, and they're all not players that came from a top 6 club. So there's your development issue. What else is in here? 2006, like you got Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard, Beckham, Rooney, Owen, Cole, Terry, David James, Ferdinand, Neville. There's enough quality in there to have done more than what they have achieved. This is supposed to be the golden generation, and to say that it isn't the golden generation is naive. Quality-wise, it is. But as a team, this stinks, and they achieved nothing. What else? 2021. I think, again, like, most of these players, again, developed outside of the top clubs. It's Mount. If you want to count Tottenham as one, I'll give you Kane. Again, like, I'll give you Sterling. 3, Saka 4. No. So you've got 4 out of that lineup, and it's arguably 4 that were developed at a top club. There's your development issue. Is the top clubs aren't producing enough for England. Do you see where I'm going with this? I think a mixture of those two things, of like that national pride in football, where people care more about the national team than their club team, which I don't think is going to happen with the culture of the Premier League being so competitive, so intense. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that's actually kind of gone now. I think the players are kind of brethren. But I also think the main thing here is that let's take the top 6 academies. Yeah, let's take the top 6 academies. Like we can be pedantic and say, oh, but the better players are in whatever. The better players are in the top academies, right? But they're not getting to the England team. Why is that? And it's because those players in the media academies are like, don't get me wrong, they're playing with, like, they're training with the top players, like, but once you're like, training can only get you so far. I think the reality is you kind of, I'm not saying you stop working on your game, but you're kind of the player you're going to be by the time you're 18. And I don't mean you're not going to get better, because if anyone comments that, I'm actually going to get mad. Like let's bring our comprehension to the table. At a certain point, you need to be exposed to the next level. And I think like your Eze's going to like your Wickham, like he really see like our top players shouldn't have to go to League Two to get exposure, bro. They shouldn't. They're good enough. And especially the amount of people we sent to Germany recently, we've proved like Sancho as a little kid going out there, moving to the league and coming back here and struggling. Like the quality is here. You can't say the quality is not here because every time these people go abroad, they're booting off the league. Scott McTominay, well, he's not even English, but you know what I mean. Loftus-Cheek, gone to Italy, and he's comfy. Like all these players go abroad, they're comfy. So we can't say they're not good enough to play. The issue is they're not playing. So that in itself is holding back. What is even on my screen right now? That in itself is holding back the English national team. And I think we need to find a way to get like to stop these top clubs from holding the English national team prisoner and the potential England national stars prisoner. Like it's an issue that if it's not fixed, like England shouldn't be struggling for quality forwards. In the academies, there's plenty of them. You take people like Callum Hudson-Odoi. You take people like there's bare of them. I'm telling you now, there's about 20 Callum Hudson-Odois, bro. That if these people got exposure quicker, they're England stars. Well, don't get me wrong, they're not all going to be England stars. But if there's 20 of them you're holding back, if 20 of them weren't held back, who knows where they would be now? Do you know what I mean? And obviously injuries and all that. There's obviously other variables, but less. Like there should be more. That we need to make the pathways a lot better. And I don't know what I don't have the answer on top of my head because I'm not sure. For example, at Arsenal, I just want bare kids playing. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't because I want Arsenal to win, which is a testament to the culture in the UK. Like I don't want to see bare youths on the pitch. I don't. But at the same time, I don't want Wanieri, like a potential future Arsenal fucking megastar, dying at my club when he should be playing somewhere or like doing something. Because if he was at Dortmund, Nwaneri is playing, brother. So yeah, that's my point. I think the main thing that we need to address is the England pathway. Like the England pathway is not good enough. Right? The English player pathway is not good enough to feed the national team at the moment, and it's telling because the quality ain't great. It's not great. But yeah, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you boys in the next video.